Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Very, very last daf of Maseches Bava Kama. A Masechta that we learned from beginning to end during the war, with many shiurim that I prepared, hearing bombs going off in the background, losing one of our dear friends, Binyamin Irli, the son of Robert. Hashem Yinkum Dama. It wasn't easy, but here we are on the final daf. Yesterday, we had an amazing siyum. Over 120 people attended. Two unbelievable speeches by Shamshi Shlafrak and Yossi Saunder. Taka, really exceptional speeches. And a job well done by Avi Factor, Dr. Avi Factor, by Tomer, putting it all together. Such a selfless person, Dr. Avi Factor. He put it all together. He came for 5 minutes and he had to go somewhere. He had to go to the Chassan or whatever. But Yishkoyach. Another selfless act. My Rebbe, Rabbi Yedidya, he gave the daf in 15 minutes. Kulei Lishma. Not a single person heard a word, not a single person cared. It was mamish Lishma. Here's a picture of the siyum. You can't really see the amount of people. The food was excellent. Rabbi say, here's our dear friend, Peretz Chaim Levin, with Yaakov Cyril. How do you pronounce? Cyril. The one who donated the MDY table at the expo. He signed up 25 people. The famous Zev Brenner, famous talk radio show host in New York. It's unbelievable. In one night, 25 people, more than most of us could do in a lifetime. Capital Diamonds. No need to publicize. MDY on the go. Hi, Rebelli. Regarding last night's video, I know that person. The Ingeman happens to be a big fan of yours. And of course, a fan of Torah. He can review your shir a few times a day. I already spotted him a couple of times doing it. I even have a photo on the plane. So yesterday I showed him at a chassan, and now he's saying he took out of his archives a picture of him on the plane. Without the shtreimel, but the same setup. Earpods and phone standing, and the Gemara in his hands. What a Kiddush Hashem. The Olam is sleeping away on this plane. Look, it's dark, and there he's steiging away. Olam Abba in this world. Rebelli, Yischusim are uncountable. What are the Rabbanim asked? That he wants to know what mitzvah did Meir Shapiro do. There's such a zchus. His Daf Yomi succeeded. Now, if you were at the Siyum last night, you'd know that I am a Gilgul of Meir Shapiro because he had the Beis Hamikdash in his Beis Medrash, and so do I. So it's a Raya Gedoyla, whatever. Same question here. What good thing did you do? Very good. Bimatzliach chazak v'nis chazek. P.S. I do the daf as well, and sometimes listen to your shir, but not every day. Oy vey. I have a chavrusa, we do it together, but if we travel, catch up, it's with you. Thank you very much. Rabbi Isai, this is where it all started from. This piece of art was made by the one and only Dov Harris, and this is the Malava Malka in London, the Siyum Malava Malka in London. Be'ezrat Hashem. And finally, due to popular demand, a special meal has been added to the United Airlines. See video attached. I love this. I'm finishing my second Masechta with Rav Eli, Arya Hirschkovitz, Talmud since Kedushin. Rabbi says, since yesterday's picture with the horse eating the hay, so check this out, United. This is straight out of the thing. It doesn't get any real than this. Special meal, you select the meal, horse meal. Hey, it's in the app. You can't lie. Unbelievable. The Masechta is sponsored. This is the last day, Rabbi Isai, the last day. If anybody wants to sponsor the Masechta, MDYsponsor.com. I'm not going to say a word. I'm not going to say that Avi Kamiyansi just walked into the room. What a simcha. For the unity of Am Yisrael, the Masechta is sponsored for the unity. Welcome. I really missed you. There were days that all three of you were gone. Seriously. I don't know where this guy is.
He's still in America.
What a bad hashpah I had on him. Parnas of the Chodesh, Mazal Tov Ahron, Rav Eli, and the entire mishpacha on the birth of Sophia Ruth. Parnas of Chodesh, Nishma zechariah ben Moshe, Nishma zechariah ben Yosef. Parnas of Chodesh, Ahron Fraiman. Oh, he renewed it. It should be a zchus to Rav Eli for continued siyadta, dishmaya, and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. What do you got over there?
The master.
Oh yeah, I forgot to bring my prop. Okay, we'll have to do it without. Paras Shavua, Robert Fraser, in loving memory of Hertzel Pinchasi, Ner Tamid Daf'ers Baltimore, Maryland. Paras Hayoim, Yossie Rubinstein, in honor of our daughter Rivka's wedding tonight. Everybody knows him. To Ahron Dovid Koslowski. I know. I think he's a big part of the shir. He does the shir. Yossie Rubinstein today. So what? He went to America for this. All right, Yossie Rubinstein, Abba Rennert, R Eli Shlita, Mazal Tov on the siyum. I don't know why. I just got choked up from Abba Rennert. Bemis. He's such a tzaddik, this guy. Rav Eli, Mazal Tov on the siyum with great appreciation. Parnas Hayoim, Refuah shelaima. To Shendel, for Shendel Devora Bas Rochel, Refuah shelaima. Parnas Hayoim, Mordechai Sapoznick, in honor of everyone that is being beside Maseches Bava Kama, Mazel Tov. Parnas Hayoim, Fatzlachim, Parnasim, Refuah shelaima. L'kol Choilei Am Yisrael, Amen. And Parnas art of the month, an honors for the zchus, for easy childbirth, for his daughter, and a healthy baby. Amen. Welcome, Rabbi Yosai, to Eli Deichman. You see him every day on Zoom, and a tremendous mazel tov to him and his son, who's only 13 years old, and was messiahing with MDY 13 mishpacha. 13 mishpacha. Think about what we were doing when we were 13 years old. We didn't know how to read. We didn't know alibis. All right, Rabbi Yosai, we have a longer daf, and we have to finish. There are no, even if it's 8:45, we have to keep on going because this is the last chance to do the daf. We can't do tomorrow. Tomorrow is the very first day of Bava Metzia, and our very last chance. I know some of you pushed it off. Yeah, I know that certain person. I will put it on my status. I haven't yet. I'm not exactly sure how. Mendy, put it on your status right now. You're going to forget. There are people out there. People.
You put it on your status. I saw.
What?
You put it on your status.
Yeah, I did. I was pushing people last night to put it on the stat, the Hebrew one at least. Okay. Huh? You got it. You put it. Send me some stuff for the English. I'll put it on as well. Oh yeah, that was. It says, "Join my Gishmak Yashir." Shimi Leifin sent that to me. So I was like, I don't have time to change it. Put it on the status. So it looks a little funny. Gaivadik, come join my Gishmak Yashir. Okay, whatever. You never know. I might get one of my old employees. I don't. All right, Zakti Gemara. Iboilu. We're holding Daf Kufyut Ches Amud Beis, I believe. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, by the two dots, 7 lines from the bottom. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Baisis Loichimem, Midbaris and Loichimem. Rabbi Yehuda says you could buy domesticated animals from the shepherd, but not the wild animals. Iboilu. Rabbi Yehuda Reisha Koyu L'Chumra, or Dilma Sefer Koyu L'Kula. The Gemara is going to explain the question. Is Rabbi Yehuda Machmir or Mekel? Reisha Koyu L'Chumra, Domer Loichimem, Arba V'Chomish Tzoyin. It says that you're permitted to buy a large amount, like 4 or 5, because that's noticeable. Hanimili Baisios, that's limiting only to what? Only to the domesticated one. But he's coming to be machmer and says, but if it's a midbar type, if it's a non-domesticated animal, then you cannot purchase any, because the owner doesn't know. Or perhaps he's talking about the last part of the mission. The Brisa. Well, the Kula is being made. You can't buy, you can't purchase a small denomination, like 2 sheep you cannot purchase, says Rabbi Yehuda. That's only Hanimili Veloishte Gizin Hanimili Midbaris. That's if you're buying wild animals. Our basis is you're buying domesticated. So is he coming to be Mekel and say that you could purchase 2 wild animals? Or he's saying that even 5 wild animals you cannot? Toshma, what? Yeah, I know. He was actually explaining it back then, but he did the whole daf in 17 minutes. Toshma, that's how you're Omer. It says in the Brisa you can purchase the domesticated and not the wild ones. It says. What does B'chol Makom mean? Even in a midbar. So even in the desert, so that means any place you're allowed to buy 4, even in the midbar. That where the Sefer says you're not allowed to buy 2, he's going to say, but that's only the midbariyos. But the baisiyos, the domesticated ones, you are permitted. You cannot purchase anything from somebody who watches fruit. Rav Zavin Shavishta Marisa. He bought these vines from Aris. Aris is a sharecropper, a guy that works your field. You're a balbas, you own all these things, all these fields. You're not going to work it. You hire somebody. He works it hard, and he gets a third of everything. So he went and he purchased vines from him. Tabadaf kufyutes Amud Aleph on top. You cannot purchase from the watcher of the fruit. You can't buy wood. So why do you buy wood from him? That's only because he's a guard. He has nothing in the land. He has nothing in the fruit. He doesn't share anything. Over here, the sharecropper, he does share in the actual. He's a partner in everything. He gets a third. So Meila I would say that he's a partner, and therefore he's selling his own vines. It's not a problem. He's not stealing. It's his. It says over here, a shoimer, a guard. The lesson begufa the aramidi. He has nothing. So it brings me from one thing to the other. Why? It started off with the word that Mendy told me that in the Diamond District they would say a shoimer, the guard by the door, always gets his check. Us guys on the floor dealing in diamonds, sometimes we lose money. He never loses. He always gets paid no matter what. But the flip side is, he's not in the game. He's not in the game. So he can never make the big money. He always gets his check. Okay? Which reminded me of another thing. Yeah? Amor the Kivart. I hope I didn't say it yesterday. I know I said it to somebody. Like, did I say it yesterday with the lottery? Okay, anyway. There was a guy, if I said it, let me know. There was a guy that was having a very rough time in Parnasa. So he cried out to Hashem. He said, Hashem, help me. Do something. So he says, maybe HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help me win the lottery. So he goes out to the street and he looks. I said it in Shir? Oh, I said it into the Kail. Okay, that's where I said it. Okay, great. So he, again, Rebbeinu Shalom, help me. I need Parnasa. Maybe help me win the lottery. So he goes, he checks the numbers, and garnished. He didn't win. He's very disappointed. Comes back the following week. He says, Rebbeinu Shalom, Parnasa is much worse. Much worse. I'm begging you, help me win the lottery. He goes, he checks the numbers, garnished. So Rebbeinu Shalom, I'm davening with all my might, everything. So he hears a baskel, a voice screaming out, Moshe, in order to win the lottery, you need to buy a ticket. It's not a joke. In order to win the lottery, you have to play the game. You have to be in it. You can't just, I should win the lottery. So a guy scream out, because every story has to do with the daf. But yeah, at the end of the day, the Musa Haskell might be, based on what Myers screamed out last night, he said, daf. So I said, yeah. We are learning the daf. We learn every daf. So in Olam HaEmes, we'll come up there and we can learn with the Rebbeinu Shalom, with the Ziva Kavod, with the Rebbe Kiva Eger, with Abaye Rava. We can learn this entire Masechta because we were in the game. We played every single daf, so to speak. Yes, we don't remember half the things we learned, or maybe some less, some more. You probably remember more than me. I don't remember much, but at least I read it. I learned it. And the Chofetz Chaim says if you read it and you learn it, you get to learn it in Olam HaEmes. And if you don't, you don't. You don't get to learn Bava Kama if you didn't learn it. You got to be in the game. It has to do with the business also. Many people told me, when I moved here to Bet Shemesh, I could have bought my entire building, 50,000 shekel per apartment. Wow, and I could have bought 10 over there, and I could have been this gazelle. Yeah, you could have. But you didn't buy. You need to be in the game in real estate, in every single business. You need to play the game. If you're in the game, you can win. If you don't play, you lose. But it's okay. It's dvarm shooting, but sometimes you gotta try. You gotta be in it. You never know what will happen. Okay. Says the Gemara. Tana Rabbanan. You know these guys that set up shop on the street? If they set up a shop like that, you could purchase from them, even though they are the shomer peiros, they're the guards of the fruit. Why? Because they know they'll get caught. The owner will pass by, see them. What are you doing? Why are you selling my fruit? So they're legit. But once again, we have this idea that if the guy says, listen, I'll sell you a lot of fruit, do not tell anybody about it. Once he says, hide it, that means something's wrong. But provided that they set up shop in the front yard. If they're in the back of the truck somewhere, that's already feile shtik, do not buy from them. Itmar, Gazlan, we said it's a big isser to buy from a thief. But there's some conditions here. If you go to his house, let's say you know he's known to sell bad stuff, things that fell off the truck. You're not allowed to buy from him, but you go to his house and you want to buy a bottle of milk, it's probably not stolen. Why? Because most of the things in his house, the roiv, are not stolen. You don't need the roiv, even some is his, then you're permitted to purchase. So where is it also to purchase? I'm assuming when it's that item that has a shemra, like the peiros, these kind of things. He told Ada, the dayol, you don't need a roiv, even a miyot, you can still buy from a gana. You don't have to be worried that everything that he has in his house is stolen. This is very, very interesting. You have a moiser, a guy that's a bad guy. A moiser is a guy that he snitches on Jews, even for mumminess. He tells the authorities about the money he has hidden, etc. And then we learned that leads to the death of the person that has the money, because eventually he's not going to have the money. The authorities are going to kill him. So he's mamish roidef. A roidef, like even in our, just 80 years ago, Rivka Hennah killed the roidef, killed the moiser. So if you lie to kill him, could you slash his tires on his Tesla? Could you break the window? Stop. He drives by, take a brick, throw it through his Tesla. Why not? You could kill him. You could dip him in a mikvah and keep him there for 5 minutes. So why can't I break his Tesla? Burn it. You're allowed to do it with your hands. One thing is clear, that you're allowed to cause him to get into a big accident, smash into a tree, and smash up his Tesla. That you could do. The question is, machlaik is if you're allowed to burn it with your own hands. The one that says you're allowed to. Rashi brings the famous Gemara in Avodah Zarah. If you see a moiser, you give him a little kick. If he's next to a ditch, you kick him into the ditch. And when he screams, help, you say, bye-bye. I hope, see you in the afterlife, whatever. Like, just, Moridin Vein Malim, the famous halacha. You could put him in a ditch, you don't have to take him out. So if you could do that to his body, you could do that to his car. And the mandoma that says you're not allowed to listen to this Rabbi Yisai. Maybe you'll have a child that's a tzaddik, that's a good child. The Russia will prepare the tzaddik yilbash, and the tzaddik will wear it. In other words, you never know who comes out of this person. We had it with Yerusha also. If somebody has a child that's off the derech, it's also to take him out of the Yerusha, because you never know. He might have a kid that's on the derech, whatever. Many times in history, nothing really comes to mind if you guys think of a tzaddik, even maybe talking about kings and things like that, big people in Klal Yisroel that their parents were Rishayim. I'm sure there's kings. Chizkiyo, yeah. Who? Achaz and Chizkiyo, right. And v'chulu. From a Rasha came a big tzaddik. And they say, why? How's it happen? And the answer is because the mother sat there by Lukas Neirs crying her heart out, crying, and her kid was still a Rasha, and he died a Rasha. But Kosh Baruch Hu never takes those tears and puts them away. It always goes to some good. And if it doesn't go for this kid, it goes for the Einikel, it goes for somebody else. Not Dafka, the mother, the father, everybody, what? Correct. Okay, says the Gemara. Rav Chizdo Havliyahu Ariso Dahavel Tokil. He would weigh. He had a sharecropper, so he made a deal with Rav Chizdo to come weigh the fruit. He would give it to Rav Chizdo. V'yav Tokil v'shakal salke. V'yav Tokil v'shakal. He would give Rav Chizdo, but he also would weigh and take for himself. So what's the problem exactly? Very hard to understand what's going on here. Two pshatim in Rashi. One pshat is that he took a little bit more than he was supposed to. Usually they take a third. Over here he did 50-50, it seems like. He waited for himself, waited for Rav Chisda. Salki Rav Chisda got rid of him. Both Shadim and Rashi have issues. Marsha says if he was a Ganav, so Rav Chisda should have told him straight out. Okay. The point is, Rav Chisda didn't like the way he was operating. Maybe he was a little bit too to the penny, and you're supposed to be a little bit larger when you are. You should give the balabas a little bit more. Don't go weight exact. Okay. So Karan Avshei, he let him go. Karan Avshei, the tzafim l'tzadik will be put aside for the tzaddik, chel choite, the wealth of the sinner. In other words, by me getting rid of him, now I have his money. I have his share in the crowd. Says the Gemara, it says in the pasuk, ki matikvas chonev kivtza. What hope does the chonev, the hypocrite, have when he steals? Ki yishal Elohiha nafshoy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to throw his soul, his nefesh. So Amachlaikis, whose soul, whose nefesh does HaKadosh Baruch Hu throw? HaKadosh Baruch Hu throw the soul of the Ganav or the one that was stolen from, the Nignav? Ravuna Rav Chisda Chad Omar Nafshoy the Nigzal. It's actually HaKadosh Baruch Hu was talking about the one that was robbed, meaning HaKadosh Baruch Hu views the one that was robbed as if he was killed. The Ganav killed him by taking his property. He killed him. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to have a tie on the Ganav. HaKadosh Baruch Hu kills the Gazlan. He deserves to die. These are the ways of those who steal. He takes the nefesh, the soul of the owner. Oh, you see that the one that was robbed, he loses his soul, so to speak. Ba'alav yikach, the Bailam. Who's the Bailam? The one that was robbed. Which the Gemara is going to say, no, it means the Ganav is the Bailam, because right now he stole the stuff, so now he's the owner. Don't rob the poor, because he's poor. And don't depress the poor people at the gate. So what does that mean? So Rashi says it means don't take away from them what they deserve. These matnois kuhuna. I need the Dave. Oh, so I'm sorry. The matnois anin. Does anybody remember what years you give meiser ani? 3 and 6, because the other years 1, 2, 4, 5 is meiser sheni. So this is 1 leket, 2 that he drops, shikha, a whole bundle that he forgets, peah, the corner of the field, and in years 3 and 6 of the Shemitah year cycle, the 90 fruit that he has left over after he gave Trumas and Meisers, he has 90 left, so he gives 10% of that, which is 9. They turn green, and he goes and he gives it to the ani. Don't take those away from him. Ki Hashem, Yorev Rivam Hashem, will fight their fight. V'kava, he'll steal as koveim nafesh. He'll steal their soul. If you do that, he'll steal your soul. So what does the other man do with the other pasuk? It says he'll take the soul of the bailam of that who was robbed. Yigal. Says no, my balav the hashta, the owner, the current owner. He's the ganav. He's in possession of it. That's the soul he's going to take. Hashem will steal their nefesh, that of the ganav. Says Gemara, no, matam komer. Matam v'kovas kivayim. Why is Hashem going to steal from the ganavim? Mishum l'kavi nefesh. You read it. V'kovas kivayim. Because Baruch Hu robbed them. Why? Nefesh. Because they stole the soul of the guy that was robbed. Not v'kovas kivayim nefesh. You have to put a comma there. V'kovas kivayim. Why? Because of nefesh. Or if you steal the smallest amount of pruta, it's as if you took a soul. You took his neshama. This is the way of the robber. You took his neshama. Anytime the Gemara says ve'omer and another raya, the Gemara is going to say, why do I need another raya? And the Gemara answers, well, I wouldn't know everything from the first passage. He took your parnasa, he took your food. What else did he take? He stole, he took the neshama of your children. When you don't have money, your children are going to die. Another raya. Mechamas, I think they sent this pasuk. If not, okay, it's a raya in Yonah the Yoima Mechamas, Chamas. Bnei Yehuda sheshafchu dam. They killed dam naki ba'artzam in their land in Eretz Yisrael. But what does it really mean? Mechamas means to extort money. Here, there's a gazlan and there's a chamsin. Chamsin means, you see, actually in his left hand he has dollar bills because he's paying. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. He's paying for the watch. So he's a good guy. He's a nice guy. He's not stamaganav. He's paying for what he did. The gazlan doesn't pay anything. So even a chamas, a sheshafchu dam, that's considered killing. Ask the marshal, why is it killing? He has parnasa. I gave him money. Why is it killing? So he says sometimes, guy steals your milk from the refrigerator in the middle of the night and leaves you $10. But now your baby's crying. There's no bottle for the baby. So what are you going to feed your baby? Dollar bills? What good is money when you need to eat? The stores are closed. It's a holiday. Nothing's open. Shkoyach, he gave me money. Sometimes money doesn't help. You're considered a goyin of nefesh. So it says by Shaul that he killed the Gevinim. Now the question is, he never killed the Gevinim, but it considers it that he killed them. Why does the Gemara have to bring a bunch of brayos? So Pshat is, you killed the one that was robbed. Okay. But you had nothing to do with the next generation. Tashma, Basar, Ban of Noisav, he killed the next generation. By you not having money, you killed the whole mishpacha. Maybe you didn't give them any money. But if you paid like a chamsen, you paid. No. Even paying money, you're a chamsen. Maybe you caused somebody to lose his parnasa in a roundabout way. You didn't take his money. You made a phone call and you caused the guy to lose his job, and now he's starving. You're a ritzeach. How do you know? Shaul killed the Gevinim. Where did Shaul kill them? Who are the Gevinim? The Gevinim are people that lied to Yeshua. They pretended they came from a faraway place. They said, here we are. We want to become Gerim. Swear to us, you're never going to do anything to us. He swore, and then he finds out that they lied. But he swore. So he kept them as they're the water carriers and the wood choppers for Noiv, the Kohanim. Shaul went on a killing spree. He thought Noiv is on the other side with David HaMelech. He killed out all the Kohanim. So they left without a job. So they were starving. So the pasuk considers it that Shaul killed the Gevinim. But he didn't kill the Gevinim. He killed Noiv. In a roundabout way, in a grum, he killed them. Huh? But how do you know that he killed their kids? When you kill an individual, it means he killed a kid. Says Gemara, they were found them, they had parnasa. Says if he killed them. Again, we have a problem that the women are married. Do they have the right to sell things that are owned by their husband? So smaller things like klitzemer biyuda, klitishnu bagalo. Avaloyeno is not wines, ushman. They can't sell oil, and flour because it's the man's derech to sell these things. Certainly, if you see a slave on the roadway selling things, where in the world did he get it? He has nothing. Obviously, he stole it from his master. And do not purchase anything from children. A woman is permitted to sell things in a small amount, small denomination, so she could cover her hair. But again, if a woman, anybody, says, do not tell my husband, do not tell my employer, whatever it is, you're not allowed to listen, you're not allowed to buy from them. It's talking about women. Women shouldn't, if a woman says, don't tell my husband, I let you drive my car, don't drive it. There's a Maseches Bava Kama. This happened to my mother-in-law. Actually, to my father-in-law. Father-in-law comes home, sees that my mother-in-law wrote a $15,000 check to some Maseches. What happened? They were nice people. I had to write the check. So, why don't you call me? They came in there. She's a very gullible, nice woman. And they convinced her. That's usher. You could get $1 from a woman. You get $5. You can't take a check out of the husband's account and go and Get it from the wife. Gabay tzedakah, loichem hem davar muad. You can take a small amount from a woman. Avaloi davar meruba, if you're the gabay tzedakah. V'abadadim, loichem zeisim b'mida, v'shem b'mida. But a woman whose husband is a wealthy guy, he owns a factory that produces olive oil. Check this out, everybody. It's a gishmak video that Yossi put together. Finally, know what all the stuff is. You see this in R Yisrael, you see these stones. I thought it goes in a nice circle. Doesn't look like it's even turning. Then you fill these up with this. Then you push it. Today you could turn screws. I don't know if they had those screws those days. That's something else. Let me show you what they had in those days. And here you have gishmaka oil. So if her husband owns that, so she's allowed to sell large quantities, because large quantities, the husband will realize right away that it was stolen. Okay, we don't have to show the other picture. This is good enough. Not small amounts, because then she's stealing. You have to put a test. In the upper Galil, over there, oil is very expensive, so the husband is very makpid. He'll find out even a small amount. He needs to raise some cash. He's embarrassed to sell it like in front of his house, like a yard sale, garage sale. He tells his wife, "You do the busha, not me." He gives it to his wife and she sells it. Says Gemara, Ravina comes to Mechayza, the women were so impressed, they start throwing the jewelry at him. He took it. He needed it for his yeshiva. Ravina, how could you take jewelry from a woman? You could take a small amount. Maybe the husband is makbid. For the Bnei Mechayza, that's nothing. Mechayza are so wealthy that the husband couldn't care less if the wife gives away a $50,000 necklace. They say that the Panovich Rav Kahneman went to a certain place in America and gave a fiery speech. And the woman came and they said, "You know what? The Rishiva here, take our necklaces." And they gave him the necklaces, the bracelets. So he took it and he gave a speech again. He said, "Rabbi Yisai, by the Egel, in this parish of Shavua, the men were the ones who gave the jewelry. Over here, all of a sudden, the women are giving the jewelry. We have to flip this around," he said. "I want the men to redeem the wife's jewelry. Come and pay me off for your wife's jewelry." I think he was mechavan. He was nervous. Like the husband might be makbid. I want to tell you a Mordechai Gemaisa. Simple story, but a Mordechai Gemaisa, I think. There was a young couple. The husband was learning in Koilo, and they couldn't survive. I don't know how these guys do it. I just don't know. You're talking about $1,000 a month, maybe, and they have many children. It's not right. He said, "I can't do it anymore. I'm going to work." She said, "You're right. But do me a favor. Before you go to work, take my jewelry and sell it. And whatever you make on it, you'll learn it for a few more months, and then you can go to work." He said, "Okay. You sure?" "Yeah." He takes the jewelry. He knows a Satmar Chassid that he davens with. He says, "Do me a favor. Give me some money for this stuff." So he chapped right away. But he wasn't a wealthy guy, this guy. He says, "Go to my uncle. My uncle could take care of you. He knows he'll give you the best price." So he goes to his uncle. And the uncle says, "What's going on? Why do you want to sell you?" He says, "Told him the story. I want to learn a little bit more. And my wife said, sell the jewelry." He says, "You're not selling the jewelry. You take this jewelry back home, and you're going to sit in Kaila. I'm going to support you forever." So, beautiful ma'aseh. All right, I thought it's a nice ma'aseh. When they want, when it mamish means that much to them, then the mevakshim Hashem. Zog the Gemara, says the Mishnah, so now I'm going to talk about all these smaller things. And it's very difficult for us to understand the sugya. We need to put our mind in their mind. We live in a generation of such shefa. It's unbelievable. Yeah? Just reminds me, I was in Borough Park. I flew in for a shiur. Probably my favorite shiur in terms of the numbers. 1,500 people showed up the shiur. I love that picture. It's unbelievable. And my Did Nefesh, Rav Eli, picked me up. He says, you need to take a shower. I guess he smelled something I didn't smell. He says, come with me. He makes a phone call to the top. He goes, it's a regular bar park house. Go into the basement. A spa. Mamsh, a spa. Guy, a mikvah with a sauna, with a jacuzzi, with massage tables. I don't know what these Hasidim are doing over there. It's mishuga. This type of shampoo and heated towels everywhere, and the bathroom with lights, fragnish, mamsh, a spa. We live in such a door of Sheva.
He took you to his house.
Shefa shebesheva. How are we going to understand this Mishnah? It's impossible for us to understand this. But we learned, even a chassan and kala, we learned the ksubas, that they're off by 2 days, and the chassan and kala are fighting. Do I support you for those 2 days? I only said I'm going to support you for this amount of months, but we're not married yet. I'm not supporting you. What? Who cares? It's your kala for good. No. They didn't have money. People would sell their daughters in those days, sell their own children because they had no money. We don't understand that. We don't understand. Sponsored by Moshe Cohen. Zchus for tremendous hatzlacha, both in Gashmis and Ruchnius. So they had a laundry. It's not like today. The laundry did a lot of stuff. You'd make the beged look the way it is. You'd stretch it. You'd pull it. You'd cut it. And so the small amount of wool. Today, you go over here on Kfish 10 over here, you can see piles of wool that they shear off the sheep and just leave it. There's nothing to do with it today. Today, everything made in China, I don't know what they do. Synthetic. Yeah, a little bit of wool, this amount of wool in the bottom of the pot. Who's going to get it? Who owns it? Who cares? It's garbage. No, it's not garbage. R Eli Shlita. You're the laundry, you get to keep it. The balabas is mevater. However, don't think it's so simple. If you're the guy that's doing all the brushing, it's too much. You're going like this. You got a lot of hair over there. Give it to the balabais. There are 3. We're going to see a little bit more soon. Beautiful pictures that Yoshi did. 3 threads worth are owned by the launderer. More than 3, no way. That goes back to the owner. So imagine you have a piece of here. Maybe this would be. So the beged is white, but around it he did a little bit of black, just to show like this is the edge. So since it's a different color, what does the owner need it for? So let him cut it off and keep it for himself. Shashir is a chut, a small thread that he left over. We're talking about threads or boisai. It's unbelievable. A tiny piece of beged that was this. Think about it. Even a piece of beged that was this, it took them a long time. You got to go back. You got to go forth. Everything's by hand to make a beged. If it's 3 by 3 fingers, it goes owned by the owner. The carpenter. Look at this, Rabbi. Great Baruch Hashem. I got a great picture here. I thought it was phenomenal. It explains. A matzod is like an axe, but not an axe. Check this out. It's. You see this or not? No. How come the Olam doesn't see? Yeah, but that picture. Okay. It's almost like an axe, but it's very thin, and it takes off a very small amount of wood, like this. You see a little. Okay, that the carpenter can keep. A klipa. But a real axe, talking about something like this.
It's really a chisel.
Yeah, it's called I forgot what they call it, AIDS or something. ADZE, something. Ads. What? Ads, not AIDS. Not AIDS. If he's working by the hour, now he's not working. He's working for the owner in the owner's place. He's working hourly. He gives even the sawdust to the owner. So now the koivus, the launderer, who we said he's allowed to keep the small pieces of wool that fall on the bottom. So he's allowed to sell it, obviously. So you're allowed to purchase it from him. He's allowed to take. How many strings do we say a koivus gets? 3. Says the Gemara, he takes 2. What's going on? We said 3. Sponsored by Kinnovations LLC in honor of my uncle Rabbi Chana Pressman and zchus for Akiva Simcha Ben Fega. That's my son. Everybody should down for, please. Akiva Simcha Ben Fega for Yeshuas. We were in Miami, and all of a sudden he looks at me and says, Oh no, you threw me under the bus again? I said, what's the matter? Yeah, you're talking about me in the shir. He has his friends sending him clips. Please don't send him this clip. Thank you. This is Givaldi. Rabbi side. Let me show you what the art school did over here. The art school gave us reshus to use their pictures, and I'm tremendously indebted to the art school mishpacha for letting me use it. We have an artist now, so he took it. Mamish the same thing. He just made it, enhanced it for our use. It's the same thing basically. It's just color, but it also has an interactive aspect to it. So it's going on like this. The koivus takes the beged and he puts it on this frame and he stretches it. Everything beyond the blue line over there, he cuts nice and straight. The cut is from top to bottom. That's the chassis. Erev is this way. We'll talk about it in a second. And he gets to keep all that stuff on the side. What is he going to do with it? I don't know. I'll take a bunch of them, put it together, and make a dress for his wife. Yivald. Now check this out. Look at this interactive thing. Boom. Chubin, this loop, it can't be too tight. Because if it's too tight, then he could stretch it even more. And then it'll chop more. The blue line, they'll fit more stuff in the blue line. So here, you see this 3 stitches over there? In green, great. But the purple one is already the 4th. That makes it stronger. That he's not allowed to do. There's a limit to how many stitches he can do over there. Now, let me show you why. Here. So we put it one on top of the other. You see what could happen? If it's stronger, now his stretch is much longer. You see the original stretch is faded out. The new stretch, he has more beged. Now his cut includes more fabric, and that's a no-no. Why was he able to stretch it more? Because he had extra stitch over there. So we're going to talk a little bit about how they used to weave things. Unfortunately, we're running out of time here. So let's just see. So we know that a fabric is made out of the ones that run up and down, the chassis, right to left. Now, if you look closely, you'll see the chassis is thinner, but a stronger thread. The erev is thicker, but weaker. So when you do this, check out how Yoshi did it. When you're going up and down with this brush, it takes out a lot of the threads. It weakens the beged. Do not go with the chassis. Don't go in that direction. You must go in the other direction. It doesn't weaken out the beged. We spoke about this. When you cut down the thing, it should be top to bottom, not left to right. And when he comes to cut it evenly, he gets a tefach. Rishoi. Up until a tefach. Shnei chutim. We just said 2 chutim, but not that. It says in the Mishnah Shalish. If you're talking about small threads, it's 3. Talking about larger ones, it's 2. We learned that you should comb the beged. Real quickly, if you want to see, this is the actual tool that they use. Looks something like this. Okay. We learned that you should comb it, or whatever it's called, top to bottom, not right to left. When it's a weak a garment and you're weakening it, you use it every day. You want to do it in the strongest way, so it's left to right to left. But when you're showing off, you're wearing a nice coat. That's for beauty. We know there are people out there, they don't care about functionality, they don't care about this. The ikar is they should have something nice. Okay, something nice, you're going to suffer. I'm going to weaken it up. You want nice and you want it to be all puffy and this and that. I'm going to go top to bottom. Top to bottom, fine. Do not put more than 3 stitches. When you take the needle, you go in and out. Is that 1 or I just did 1, 2? Is each stitch a stitch or it's a complete stitch? Is that 1? Or take, I don't know. We learned that you should cut it on its length, not on its height. I don't know. Let's take this out for a second because I need it for later. If you're making a gartel in those days, you made a belt. Okay, so I take this, I go like this, I put this around. So this part, I could cut. This part, nobody sees because it's folded over. I go like this. You see, you don't really see the edge. But this is the part that everybody notices. This part. The end. These ends. So Melo, that's the difference. Ooh, that was not good. Okay, let's keep this here for a second. Test. Oh, I was on speak. Oh. Usually I don't use it, but because of my voice, shkoyach. Thank you. It's perfect today. Not too loud, not to this. Says the Gemara. But we learned that you should cut it on the length. Yeah, when you're talking about a belt, you cut it on the length. You're not allowed to buy from the guy that does the brushing. This guy, you had him a second ago. This guy, don't buy from him any wool because it's not his. He has to give it to the owner. But in a place that the minig is like today, nowadays, who cares about the little sever that's left over? Of course, he can take it. You're allowed to take a pillow full of this stuff. Even if he stole it, it's a shinoi, and a shinoi, he's kind of bigneva. They ask, what's the shinoi exactly? He just took it and put it in a pillow. You can open up the pillow and throw it out, but nevertheless, for this, because anyways, we don't know that he stole it, it's a suffix, maybe he stole. So together with the slight shinoi, that's enough. Torah about it. Interesting. You cannot take from a weaver. Rabbi said, "Yeah, beautiful. You worked really hard on this." So just to remind the Olam, one day we'll get one of these in a smaller thing. So in those days, they had these looms, and they would put the red string into the. It's hard to see. This is not the greatest. They would put these threads through the batinirin, through these rings. And they would be stationary. Then those are the chassis strings. The red and the blues that you see, they're the uppers and the lowers, and they go up and down. Then there's the shuttle. That's that piece right over here. It looks like a space shuttle. This guy right over here. This has a string attached to it, and it unravels, and you literally throw it through, and then you catch it on the other end, and then you reverse. You up and down, and then you throw it through the other side. And that's how you get a beged. Now you know why it costs so much, and that's why they're makbid on 3x3, etc. So, now that we know that, in the shuttle, there's different parts and different pieces. So it says like this. The weaver, he's just a weaver. He was hired to be. You cannot purchase from him lo irin. Where's the irin? Let's see. So this is the art scroll. It's great. I still like this better. Irin, it's the white stuff. That's part of the threads that are left over. Veloy nirin, and that we said the nirin, the rings over there. Veloy punkolin. What's punkolin? Oh, I didn't even realize he did that for us. Oh, I'm such a shayta. Look at this. I wish you would have told me. Here's the shuttle going through, rabbis, with the thread. It's beautiful. Punkolin, here it is. That's a punkol. And not the leftover, the threads. If you see some funny looking clothing, you let it buy from them. Why? Because he's kind of be shinoi. Erev see tzviva arig, whether it's woven, whether it's spun, tavi, spun. Arig means woven. Says Gemara, Amri Ashta Tavi, Shakli, you let him buy from him something that's spun. Arig me buy, certainly if it's woven. Woven is the next step. So certainly there's certainly a shinoi. My arig, tiche, tache. In other words, it's not really woven. It just means like a clump of thread. He wove the threads together, made it into a chain. And look at the guy that's the dyer, he dyes fabrics like this gentleman right over here. You cannot purchase from him. You can't. Pieces of fabric that he used for testing or for samples, you're not allowed to take from him. Unbelievable. Today, who cares? He took a little snippet and he did a test. No, I want it back. I have something to do with it. Not leftover wool. You can take a whole garment that's dyed, tvi, which is spun, begadim, that are these clothing that are made from these patches. As the Gemara Hashem Tavi Shakil, if it's spun, you're allowed to take. Begadim, if it's a complete clothing, certainly. Says the Gemara, you're right. My begadim namte. We're talking about felt. Again, felt is a bunch of wool that's just pressed down, not even woven or anything. That's the type of beggar we're talking about. So it's two types of begadim here. Torah Bono. If I give my leather to a tanner, hakitzuin, what he cuts off from the sides, the small pieces, vatlushin. And this is interesting. It comes with a bunch of hair on it, right? So the hair that falls off during the tanning process, harei shabal habayis. You have to give all the hair back to the owner. He cares about the hair. V'oilo umeshate b'mayim harei shloi. I don't know what that is. That's my thing. Oh, it's a red alert. Wow, my thing is on and it's never on. I guess that means missiles are coming into Eretz Yisrael now. See, we're in the middle of a war. Says the Gemara, should learn more and more Torah for the zchus of all these people that are okay. Yirmi, unfortunately, we have to finish the Masechta. I'm not kidding, so we can't stop short, but a few more minutes, 5 more minutes probably. And unfortunately that we're late. Where are we holding? Oh. So, the stuff that comes up in the water, the guy, the tanner is allowed to keep it. The launderer, his name is a katzra. The small amount that he cuts off, he's not just a launderer. He fixes the beggar, it should be nice and straight. He's allowed to keep that for himself. Oh, so we're talking about tzitzis here for a second. Let's get the good one here, the MDY part. The tzitzis has to be minimum from the joint. Okay, not everybody has a thumb like this, but okay, a normal sized thumb. Minimum, this amount from the distance from the end of the baguette. Maximum 3 etzbais. Now, we have all this stuff, that the kaivis takes off. Yeah, see it? He needs to snip. Is this part of the 3 fingers or not? Does this make the tzitzis, if I put a hole right over here, now am I more than 3 fingers away? This is like garbage. I'm supposed to cut it off. Says Gemara, even that part that the launderer takes off. He wouldn't put the tzitzis, he would cut it off first. He left over a little bit of the thread. How much? So he has there's a needle. There's the amount of a needle. Let's say a needle is 2 inches long. 2 inches plus 2 inches. There's 4 inches of thread. Is it 2 times the 2 inches? In other words, 4 inches? Or no, it's only 2 inches. It should be 2 inches plus a little bit. We're making a whole big deal about a piece of thread this long, 2 inches long, or an inch long. We just have to sit back and appreciate what we have. Water in our houses, bathrooms in our ovens, stoves, laundry machines, everything. All we need to do is be over Hashem a little bit. So it says the tailor left over the thread less than you could sew with, and a piece of garment that's less than 3 by 3. If the owner cares about it, he has to give it back. If he doesn't care, it's his. If we're talking about 4 inches of thread, because the needle is 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. Less than this, you can make a loop with it. If you're talking about all there is 2 inches worth of thread plus a drop, think about it. If you ever try to sew a button with thread that's the same size as the needle, it's impossible to make a turn with the needle. It's going to pull everything out. You have to have more thread than the length of the needle. What is it worth? You can't do anything with it. Obviously means double the length of the needle, 4 inches. We're just going to do this 3 more lines and we're done. Masha Charash. Rimini. Masha Charash might be matzod. So let's go back to the picture real quickly. You're saying that this piece of wood that comes out, the carpenter is allowed to keep it. And this that he got with the saw, it's all owned by the owner. And that comes out from the drill, and a plane. I have a picture of a plane real quickly. A plane is not something that brings you to America. It's one of these, a planer. This is a saw. R Eli Shlita. So it says Mefurish that matzod and even a big axe is all his. There's two types of axes basically. There's a smaller axe. That's the one that you're allowed to take from. There's only one type of axe, and all of them, the smaller one, the larger one, they're all called the same name. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Tomorrow, Beis Hashem, Baba Metzia. I finished it last night, but okay, let's finish it. Those who chisel out stones, they're allowed to take the small pieces of the chisel. Those who prune trees, anybody pruning trees, thorn brushes, or taking out weeds, if the owner cares about the weeds, you have to give it back to the owner. Hops that you make beer from. The chuzes is like the green stuff, the green hay that the animals eat, the shachas. You're allowed to take it. You have to understand what that means. In a place that people care about, there's gezel. Listen to this marsha, Rabbi Yosef. The place called Mechasya, Asher the Kaptiu. There's a place they have a lot of animals, and people are makbid. They want. So the marsha says, how do you finish off a Masechta like that? You're supposed to finish off a Masechta on a good note. Not a Mechasya. So he says that's why Rashi says a funny word here. Makom be'ei moisu v'tzichim lemira toiv. What toiv? V'tzichim lemira toiv. We're finishing off the Masechta v'toiv. Rabbi say, have a wonderful day. Shelaima.